Hello and welcome everybody to this week's bitLab Live, broadcasting here live from littleBits HQ. Going to talk about bitLab, going to talk about some ongoing things in hardware and littleBits this week. So happy to have you. We're going to have some Q&A at some point, so hope you enjoy the show. Just for those of you that are new, just a word from our sponsors. littleBits is a modular library of electronics. They snap together with magnets. And so you can design, you can prototype, you can do all kinds of awesome electronic things with littleBits. And if that is the first time you're hearing about us, that means that you're new to the program. So thanks for joining us. Another just announcement to let you guys know what bitLab is. So bitLab is our new initiative here at littleBits. It is the user-generated hardware part of littleBits, and so we have, you know, an HDK available for people. You can design your own modules. You can put them up for vote. Have them voted and vetted by the community, and maybe potentially get one of your designs made by us and out in the community. So we encourage you to vote. There's a bunch of great modules that are currently up for vote right now. We had our first submission reach 1,000 votes, and that is the EMG Spiker module from Backyard Brains. We've got Greg Gage on the program with us today, so that's really exciting. And so yeah, go to bitlab.cc and check it out and vote and be a part of what we're starting here. So to open the show, I'll say Happy Halloween. We have a spooktacular program today. So this is Uncle Edward. He's one of our signature Halloween projects. He's got the spooky servo eyes, and so hopefully everybody's making their costumes, designing their costumes this week. Maybe littleBits is a part of your costume. We hope so. So just a brief recap of last week's show. We had the brick adapter. We had Dave on the show. Brick adapter mania is sweeping across the Bitiverse, so we now have a way for you to connect littleBits to Lego. Very cool. They've been selling like hotcakes, so make sure you go out and grab yours as well. Start connecting littleBits to Lego. We've got loads of great projects on the website to show you about that. We also, our guest last week was Dr. Bleep, showing off the Bleep drum, a very cool module, a great addition to the synth kit. You might have seen the intro music. I was doing a little intro today using a synth kit and an Arduino, making some very cool sounds. So the Bleep drum is a great addition. So go vote for it at bitlab.cc. Again, thanks to Dr. Bleak for coming on the show. We also had some trivia. We gave away a brick adapter last week, and that was for the best question at hashtag AskBitLab. So we are going to be giving away this week the prize of an HDK. So we have our HDK for the BitLab. You get 2 proto modules, you get a perf module, you get some bit snaps, everything you need to get started designing your own littleBits module. You can submit it to the BitLab. Very exciting stuff. So again, that's hashtag AskBitLab. The best question will get one of these HDKs. You can start designing right away. All right, and then one last piece of news from last week. We had Andrew, who you might notice is out this week. I'm steering the ship solo, but Andrew was at Alpha Labs with one of our engineers, Alan, talking to the folks there. It's Alpha Labs, if you don't know, is a hackerspace in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, and so we're talking a bit about BitLab, about littleBits, designing modules. So that was a great afternoon, a great evening of BitLab goodness, talking with some friends in my neighborhood out in Greenpoint. Okay, so this week our agenda, we'll start with a little bit of open hardware news. This isn't brand new news, but if you hadn't heard about it, folks at Raspberry Pi opened up their files in OrCAD and Allegro, their schematics for the Raspberry Pi Compute, the module that they put out a little bit earlier this year. So now you can actually go take a look, see what's under the hood of the Raspberry Pi Compute. So that's a very cool thing if you're doing any sort of embedded systems design work. So now, without further ado, we're going to bring on our guest today. So we've got Greg Gage from Backyard Brains on the program. He is going to talk to us a bit about, let's see if I can show the link. So Backyard Brains, Greg's going to talk to us, show off the EMG Spiker module, do a little demo, talk about some of his work. It's very fascinating stuff in the realm of neuroscience. So without further ado, Greg, if you'd like to kind of introduce yourself and talk about the module.
All right, thanks for that. Honor for us. I'm a neuroscientist, and I had to, let me turn this sound down a little bit. I had to go get a PhD in order to understand how the brain works, to get hands-on tools, but not anymore. Now with the EMG Spiker-Bit and some of the other tools, everyone can be a neuroscientist and actually do some other cool things with it. So I'll give you some background on what Backyard Brains is. We started about 5 years ago, and we are specializing in electrophysiology, and that's the electrical recordings of the brain. So we normally work with insects, and so this is our first product that we created. It was an amplifier that allows you to record the brain of an insect. And we did that so that you can actually get into the individual neurons. These are ax potentials that are firing from one neuron to the other. And this was replaced about $30,000 to $40,000 worth of equipment, like for less than $100 for kids to really learn how the brain works. And now we do some other projects as well. We've got the world's first commercially available cyborg in the history of mankind. It's in the form of a cockroach as well. And so what we have is we have cockroaches with little backpacks that you can put on. So this is a living cockroach, and as you'll see, we have little wires that are going into the antennae. And so when we hook up the backpack to the back of the cockroach, we can send electrical signals from a phone to get a cockroach to move around. And this is the exact same technology that's used to treat like Parkinson's disease with deep brain stimulation or cochlear implants to treat deafness. And that's kind of it allows kind of an entry-level way to sort of explore some high-tech neurotechnologies. And so what we've done with littleBits is we made our own module, which is right here. And it's in the form of a little, what we call the EMG Spiker bit. And on the other end of the module, I'll show you we have a handsome model here named Will, and we've wired up his some muscles here. And so when his brain, let me come over here a little bit. On this side, you've got a strip of the motor cortex that's going to fire an axe potential when he wants to move his arm. It's going to go down. It's going to create an electrical impulse on his arm. And this EMG spiker bit is going to amplify that and allow us to actually get access to that signal so we can hear things that the brain is doing and then maybe control things like your project as well. You guys want to see a demo? All right, let's do it. So I'll show you. The basic module goes like this. I'll put it down here. Move this out of the way. All you need is you need the EMG spiker bit, and you need a battery, and then a speaker just to get the basic functionality down. So I'm going to turn it on. And now when Will is ready, he'll squeeze his arms. And so what you're listening to is the electrical activity from his brain down through his spinal cord out to his muscles. And these are individual motor axe potentials that are being picked up by the electrode and being amplified. So we can take a look at that and do some science with that really quick. So this is just an iPad just picking up my voice right now. But if I'm quiet, you go ahead and squeeze. So we're actually looking at the electrical activity inside of his muscles right here. It's like an amplifier that kind of brings it out there. So this is a basic tool now that we can then use to sort of explore questions about how the body and brain works. But it does more than that. It actually is you now have an interface between your body and your littleBits. And so we can then replace, for example, we could take out the speaker module and maybe add in some synth bits. So I'm going to add a couple of bits from the synth kit, and I'll go ahead and turn it on. So when you move his arms, so this is probably the first muscle-controlled music-generating box that would be able to be sold on the planet. So this is kind of cool. And so this is the idea. So this is going to send out a signal. So you're going to get a potentiometer to be able to open and close with cans, and activate this project. Eyes closed on your spooky motors there. So the idea is that these are ways to sort of allow the human body sort of interact with your existing project. So it's pretty cool. Hopefully by next Halloween, people will have costumes that they'll be able to activate with various muscles around their body. We have hundreds and hundreds of muscles around the body. We can actually interact with multiple muscles at the same time. It's kind of cool. So we can. I'll let you ask more questions, and if you want to, we can do a couple more experiments. Maybe we can figure out exactly how our hand muscles work, because it turns out that most of our muscles in our hands that control our hands are not in our hands. There's only one movement that our hands make that's in our hands, and we can use the littleBits to figure out what that one is. That's kind of an interesting question.
Excellent. That's it's amazing stuff. We're super excited to have that reach 1,000 votes and make its way into production and out to folks. Yeah, just thinking of some of the possibilities, connecting it to potentially one of our Arduino modules or the upcoming Makey module. You can use your muscles to control your computer through the use of it as a human interface device. So you move your muscles and you're potentially clicking on things on screen, and there's a lot of really cool potential there. I understand that you also did some recent work with squids, Craig. Do you want to?
Yeah, we work
about that.
In the month of August, we get to go out to the ocean, biological laboratories, and we work on various invertebrate critters, right, that we can collect from the ocean. So one of our recent projects are working with octopus and trying to understand a little bit. 3/5 of the octopus brains are in its tentacles, and so last summer we were working on that. We also worked with squid, and squid have a pretty amazing property, and so do octopi. That they can control the color of their skin based by their brain. So by using like some microstimulation, a little bit of electrical current that we can generate from like an MP3 player, you can send that signal into the squid and then allow that neuron to fire, which causes these beautiful reactions. If you zoom in through a microscope onto the squid, you get to see this beautiful display of activity that looks like it's a screensaver, but it's actually a biological system, which is actually really wonderful. Really wonderful.
And does that come back to humans, and that kind of affects?
If you look at the basic thing, octopus. It's not too different than what we're doing here. It's just that the cephalopods have a different way. So their muscles are radial, and so when their muscles fire, they open up a circle like this, and underneath the circle is a pigmented skin. So when the muscles are relaxed, it's covered up and it looks white, and when it opens, it looks either red or brown or yellow. And so and it's almost like pixels on a screen, and these are covering their body. And the brain says, "All right, I want it to be dark now," so they'll open up, some of them halfway, some of them full way, some of them will kind of oscillate to look like there's water flowing by. And so even in other creatures like octopus, they can actually put 3D pixels out, so they can actually change not just the color but the morphology as well. So this is an active field of research. There's somewhat known about some of the patterns that they can generate, but how the brain actually sends that is an active field of research. So it's kind of it's an exciting time to be a neuroscientist.
Excellent, thank you. Thanks for that explanation, Greg. It's really awesome, kind of the stuff that you're trying to unlock, and we're really happy to be a part of that in kind of getting the word out and helping people understand what it is that you do. So that's really exciting. Again, congratulations on the module. We're super excited to see what people do.
I'm excited.
Yeah, no, it's a kind of a new thing for us to have biofeedback and sort of wearable kind of modules. So hopefully this is just sort of like the first step in kind of exploring that, and hopefully we'll get some other interesting, things along those lines for more modules to come. So thanks very much for being with us. We're gonna jump to questions for today. And so before we go to questions, I'll do a quick plug. It is Halloween, so for all of your cool littleBits Halloween projects, you can use hashtag #TricksWithBits. So anything you do with littleBits, hashtag #TricksWithBits, and tag that, and we'll kind of compile that, and that'll be really fun to take a look at come Halloween at the end of the week. And so we have a question here. And so, Greg, this is a question for you. And so the question is, what long-term effect on students do you hope to see by turning kids onto neuroscience?
Oh, okay. That's so. The reason why we started doing this weird thing of bringing neuroscience to STEM education is because of a basic fact. We have 20% of the world, that's 1 out of 5 people, have a neurological disorder. And Paul, guess how many cures there are for neurological diseases?
I'll say 0.
No cures. No cures. And so, and if you looked at the curriculum, are we teaching neuroscience? The basic research is what's going to have to be done in order for us to come up with these cures. And it's an exciting time to be a neuroscientist because all these things are coming online. But we're sort of like, the only way that students can really learn about the brain is to dedicate their lives to get a PhD. But what we should be doing is sort of attacking the problem I did earlier from 5th grade, 6th grade, all the way through high school to undergraduate, to get students sort of prepared for a career in neuroscience that could help sort of tackle these diseases.
Thanks, Greg. That's excellent. Excellent to hear, and awesome cause, and we're again happy to help with that. So that's really gonna wrap up the end of. I'm getting the sign from our stage manager Chloe here that's the end of the show. So I'm gonna play us out with another little synth kit jam here. Thanks again, Greg, and we'll see you next week. Remember, go to bitlab.cc, vote. We have a couple of days left with some of those other modules, and we'll catch you all next time.
All right, see you. See you.